Hello everyone, welcome back to Dead Man's Rest. Let's go ahead and continue. There were no guards around, which surprised me. Nancy was waiting like a faithful puppy at the door of the farmhouse and ran out with obvious relief when Bill reappeared. His mood seemed to only blacken when he saw her though.
Bill, you're back. I was getting worried about you. It's almost dawn. Thought maybe I'd have to go into town again and figure out some way of getting you out.
Bill didn't make no effort to respond, only nodding at her as she approached us while continuing to manhandle me back to the barn. Nancy came right up to us and stopped Bill in his tracks, frowning a little.
Hey, you can't even spare me a greeting. I've been worried up all night.
Well, I didn't ask you to be, did I now? Go in the house and wait in bed, Nancy. I'll be there in a minute. He pushed her aside and with a jerk of the gun in my back, I jolted forward. I caught a glimpse of her disappointed look as he passed. Inside the barn, Bill pushed me into the middle and grabbed the same rope that had tied me before. Still cuffed, I could do nothing but watch as he tied me up again. This time around the waist with my hands in front. No way I was getting out of this one anytime soon. I didn't say nothing about Nancy, mainly because Bill seemed to be in a bad mood after earlier. In any case, I didn't want to make it worse. It seemed to me she was much cuter on him than he was on her. Made sense, really. Bill only ever kept people around if they were useful to him. Never known him to honestly care about anyone other than himself. He finished tying the rope and glared down at me. You ain't going nowhere this time. And I ain't done with you yet. The final narrowed stare, Bill vanished out of the barn. I was going to sit more comfortably inside. How did I manage to get back here again? For the first moment I let these idiots catch me, it'd gone from bad to worse. Now I was a jailbird, a real criminal, as well as being wanted for murder I didn't commit. Had I made the right choice, coming with Bill? Sure, by now I'd be at the gallows, but I'd have died an honest man. I'd have gone to meet Jimmy and known I didn't do nothing wrong. Now? Well, I was wanted by the law and tied up by the behest of a deeply troubled and unpredictable criminal who hated my guts and I his. Not to mention twice now he'd made rough, angry, and inappropriate sexual advances, which I still couldn't figure out. Sighing, I propped my head back into the column. Time would tell if I made the right choice. At least for now I was alive. I managed to get some fitful sleep throughout the early morning. It was just as uncomfortable in there as it'd been the first time. I was walking around noon from my doze though, by Nancy storming to the barn like a woman possessed.
You, McCarthy.
Yes, ma'am. She marched right up onto me and slapped me hard across the face. First pushed my head to the side. My cheeks stung like a bitch. I couldn't even lift up my hand to nurse it. I glared at her angrily. What the hell was that for?
You fucking creep. You disgusting faggot she is catching.
What the...
Bill spent too much time around you or something. I don't know. But you infected him with something, because last night he couldn't get it up. And it's all your fault. What did you do to him?
My cheek was burning. I was still groggy, so it was difficult to process what she was screaming about. But one thing stuck out. Bill couldn't get it up. I wondered if he had anything to do with our interaction earlier than that. Blowed his confidence, maybe? Or was it something even deeper? Nancy was still fuming, standing over me, demanding an answer. Let's see, what do we say? Let's go it. Well, darling, she will never know what I can do to man. My sarcasm was not appreciated. I felt it before I even saw it coming as my face exploded in pain again.
You stay the hell away from him, you freak. He ain't like you. He's a real man.
Sure sounds like it based on his performance. I braced myself, but she didn't hit me again. Instead, she huffed angrily and stalked away. I let out a low breath. That was one way to wake up. I caught sight of Bill going past the barn, and I half expected him to come in and accuse me of the same. Instead, though, he gave me an odd look and just walked on by. More and more, I was feeling like some kind of third wheel in a wagon. Whatever the relationship was or wasn't, I didn't want nothing to do with it. Honestly, right now, I just wanted to be out of here. I come here with the intention of killing Bill, but after seeing him the way he was, I didn't even know if I wanted that no more. He was still the odious man I'd known him afar, but more than that, he was on the verge of some kind of breakdown. I don't want to know any more about him than I already did, but that, at least, I could tell. Strangely, I hadn't thought of Jimmy much in the last few days. Normally he'd occupy my every waking hour, but now I felt like his memory was much farther away. It was freeing, in a way. The guilt I'd carried with me for so long is slowly starting to be lifted. Spent this time around Bill, I kind of realized there was nothing I could have done. And Bill's issues stand far further than just hate. I knew Jimmy had been the first man he ever killed, and somehow I'd felt responsible every time I'd heard of another death. Like I should have got him sooner. I should have prevented it. All that had tainted my pursuit, made it personal. In the end, had I been doing all this for Jimmy? Or was it to relieve myself of my own guilt? The more I confronted the truth of my actions, the more I realized I was further away from Jimmy than I'd ever been. Further away from the life we'd wanted for ourselves. It was time for a change. I get out of this damn corner of the world, wash my hands of it, and start again. That's what Jimmy would have wanted. At the moment I thought of it, I knew it was true. And the more I wasted time, with that in mind, I set to work. Scrabbling about on the floor with my boot, I found a nail lying a little ways away. After some careful shuffling, I managed to roll it over to me. But I didn't let this be my ticket out of here. By nightfall though, it became clear the nail wasn't any use.
It was too thick to break the lock in the cuffs and not sharp enough to make any headway on the rope. My stomach growled in hunger. Was anyone gonna bring me food? I hadn't seen no other people in the cabin except Bill and Nancy either. Things definitely felt different around here since my escape. A sudden noise startled me and I had to nail quick before whoever came in saw it. The looming figure of Bill cast a shadow over the entrance as he stepped in. Brought you some food. He sounded listless, bored. That one like Bill. Felt a lot of good they'll do when I'm all tied up. Cannon McCarthy, you still got hands. He placed a rod in front of me. I expected him to leave, but instead he just stood there watching me. Shrugging, I dig in. I hadn't had nearly enough to eat the last couple of days, and I was famished. Heard you got Nancy all riled up earlier. I snorted. She got herself riled up. Though I'll admit I helped a little. This was only fair after she condemned me to gallows, don't you think? This time it was Bill who snorted. She say anything strange to you? I knew immediately what he was talking about. I sure as hell wasn't gonna admit I knew. Bill was unpredictable and violent. He seemed calm at the moment, but I told me she spilled a secret. I wasn't sure he remained so accommodating. So I arranged my face into nonchalance, kept my mouth shut. Strange? Not really. That man ain't heard my whole life anyways. Bill nodded and went quiet for a while. Something seemed to be on his mind, but he wasn't going to tell me. I didn't want him to. He seemed dangerously human at the moment, and starting to believe Bill could be anything but a monster was a risky road. While I'd fished my fixins, he stood. You wanna piss? His thoughtfulness was surprising. Sure. Better go now or I'll be busting in the morning. I half expected him to laugh and tell me to piss in my pants or some such. Instead, just quietly undid my ties and hung me by the shoulder out of the barn. This was real unnerving to say the least. I was much more at ease with Bill when he was screaming vitriol in my face. I decided to break the silence with something that had been bothering me. Say, where are all your men? Send them away. They were all incompetent anyways. Don't you get away like that? Don't need to surround myself with idiots. I'll pick up some good more next town over. Once Nanny's I get that damn gold. Right. There didn't seem to be much more to say, so I'd fall inside as Bill led me behind the broken wagon at the edge of the farm. He was acting real different. Apathetic. Like all the fire drained out of him. I didn't like it one bit. I hated Bill, but it was easy to hate someone who was all fired up and ready to kill you. It was quiet and moody like this, closer to being a human. It's much harder to look him in the eyes with that same venom. Even though I knew what he'd done, what heinous crimes he'd committed, well, maybe I was going soft. It was real hard to see him now and know I'd spent 8 years while nothing more than a bullet between his eyes. We stopped short at the edge of the farm.
I struggled to undo my pants with my cuffed hands. Can I get these off for a sec? What do you think I am? Stupid? Well, no, but I couldn't hurt to try. I can't undo my pants. For fuck's sake, Blackjack, come here. My eyebrows flew as Bill grabbed me and deftly undid the belt and buttons. Put my clothes down without a word. I felt real damn awkward standing with my bird out in front of Bill. Even worse that I couldn't turn away the tree and aim proper. A second later though, it seemed that no longer be a problem as I felt something warm touch me. I jolted when I realized Bill was holding it and froze, comfortable not really processing what was happening. It wasn't hurting me or being particularly rough, but having my gaze on me touching me down there at all was much more than I could handle. His eyes were fixated on his hand and my cock, with a strange kind of gleam in them. Thought maybe he wasn't entirely aware of what he was doing. It was profoundly disturbing though, especially with Bill in his odd, vacant state. I didn't know what to do to snap him out of it. His eyes turned to mine, and I couldn't tell what he was thinking. I'd never been as terrified in my life as right then and there. Are you gonna piss or what? Something about his tone of voice frustrated me. You think I can piss right now? You're out of your damn mind. You're holding my goddamn cock. So, ain't like it's something new for you. Anyway, in a second I won't be and you'll piss all over your boots. Just fucking do it. I can't. I can't. Have you away then. We ain't coming back here till tomorrow. Alright, wait. Bill paused just as he was about to remove his hand. I'm doing it, alright? I just need a second. Despite myself, despite everything, this weird fucked up situation and who I was with, my body started to react to him touching me. It's been far too long since I got him peruding. Bill noticed I'd be a dead man, I was sure of it. Or at the very least, a eunuch. So I closed my eyes and put all my energy into thinking about how much I needed to piss. What are you so uncomfortable about, Lee? That's your hand right there. Just the same as you always have. Come on now, you can do it. I felt a wave of relief on two levels as the stream finally started up. When it was over, Bill tucked it back in without a word and helped me do it with my parents. That had been completely surreal. I almost doubted it even happened. But the delivering warmth of his hand was there even as we walked in silence back to the camp. What the name of all that was fucked up was that about? Bill, outspoken man of God, known killer for homosexuals, over the course of the last 2 days. 1. Kissed me. 2. Demanded I suck his cock. And 3. Held mine with his bare hand while I pissed. All his own behest in all instances with myself unwilling and mostly terrified. If it was a stranger, if it wasn't the wild Bill McCoy, I'd immediately thought he was sweet on me. In fact, I would have thought that almost from the beginning with the way he acted. This were no stranger, combined with Nancy, what she told me, tying me up and keeping me prisoner, and the history we had. I can help but believe that this was all some kind of weird delusion, some trick to try and tame me like he said he would. I wasn't gonna give in to him. No matter what he tried to do, I could remember who I was and what Bill had done. I'd find a way to get the hell out of here and I'd never look back. Never think about Wild Bill McCoy again. I allowed him to lead me back into the barn without complaint. He carefully tied me back up. Say, McCarthy. You breathe a word of what happened tonight to anyone, and I'll split your guts open. Got that? It didn't seem like he was kidding. The listless look in his eyes had been replaced with dark anger. Maybe he'd finally realized just what had occurred out there. Needless to say, though, I wasn't going to show him he hadn't cowed me. What am I going to tell Bill? You're keeping me here in this rotten old barn out of reach of civilization. You hesitated and the answer came to me all of a sudden. Nancy? You heard she's gonna come and speak to me again? Suddenly Bill's hand was at my throat. He looked like an animal, his teeth bared and snarling. It was enough to choke me, but he was throttling my windpipe painfully. You ain't the one in charge, McCarthy. I am. And you'll fucking well listen when I tell you not to say a word. Am I clear? Growing red in the face from the lack of air and just keen to get his hand out my throat, I nodded. He let me go and I gasped breath. As I turned to walk away, though, I gulped together enough to breathe breath to say one last parting shot. Bill. He stopped, then turned around. Just remember that you're right. You're the one in charge. And all what's happened over the last few days has been on you too. They started walking again, vanishing into the night outside. I had no idea what the hell kind of shit was trying to store down in his head, but it was clearly unstable. It probably wouldn't be long before something inside him gave way. I just had to hope I wouldn't be around to see it happen. With that thought in mind, I looked at my trusty nail and set back to work. Over the next couple of days, things stagnated around the camp. I didn't get no more interesting visits from Nancy or Bill. One of them would bring me food and let me out to bed every now and again, thankfully with no repeats of what happened before. Those things had gotten bored and taught me, because other than my basic necessities, I saw no one. I wasn't sure what I was still doing here. Did they have a plan for me? Did they even have a plan themselves? Nancy seemed to be irritable all the time, stopping out about the farm and going out often on errands. And Bill? He returned to that same introverted, lethargy state he'd been in the other night. I doubt either of them would even notice if I escaped this time. In fact, Nancy would probably be overjoyed. Every time she caught my eye, I could feel the hatred coming off her. She definitely still blamed me for whatever was going on with Bill. I didn't have time to waste persuading crazy that the sky was blue, so I ignored her and got on with my only task, getting out. One night after days of constant poking, prodding and sawing, the nail finally made a hole big enough in the rope. I pulled for it with all my strength and snapped the rope clean away. I was free. I'd done it. Look around the barn, I found some old tools and smashed the cuffs. Deformed them just enough to painfully squeeze my hands free. Good thing they were old and rusted to hell. In a flash, I grabbed my bag from where it lay and forgotten for so long in the back of the barn, adjusted my hat, and with a quick look around, darted out of the barn. This was it. It had to be. Still at night, but a fire was going in the pit. I crept out, keeping the shadows, and made a dash for a gully, trying to work my way up towards the ridge. Just before I reached the perimeter, though, I heard a click. My heart sank like a stone in the river. I knew that sound. I raised my hands up in surrender and turned, expecting to see Bill's angry face ready to march me back to the barn. Instead, though, I was faced with a shaken, crying Nancy. She looked so much smaller than usual, and for a moment, I was tempted to go and comfort her. But I remembered who she was, and just in time, too. God, she held in both her trembling hands and raised it to point directly at my face.
You fucking evil son of a bitch! You've ruined everything. It's all your fault.
Whoa, come on now, Nancy. Put the gun down.
Don't you fucking speak to me.
Worm swallowed wildly, and the gun teetered from beside his side as tears streaked down her cheeks.
She looked like she was on the verge of collapse. You fucking ruined them. You spoiled everything. He was going to marry me. We were. And now he says he won't. It's all yours since you arrived. She was screaming loudly, and I knew she would have broken Bill up already.
It was only a matter of time before he came out there. I never longed to defuse this situation. Look, Nancy, please just put the gun down. I'm leaving. Look, I'm going. Without me here, I'll be fine again.
No. It'll never be fine. It'll never be the way it was. You don't know what I've done to him. You don't even fucking know.
Her sobs consumed the end of her sentence, and for a second, the gun wobbled. I tried to dart forward and grab it from her, but she saw my movement and brought it up again before I could reach it.
Why couldn't you let us be happy?
Her eyes were wide and bloodshot, fresh tears were rolling down her face. She generally believed that whatever arguments her and Bill had been having were due to me. That, coupled with the other facts I'd seen in Bill in the last week, led me to finally understand what was going on. I didn't dare voice that to Nancy. She was insane and would definitely shoot me without a thought. Nancy, I'm sure Bill's just as tired. He's off. He's bored of this place. When you get your goal, when you move out to someplace else, you'll be happy again. I'll be gone. You let Bill back, all to yourself.
I'll let Bill back. We'll be happy.
And I persuasively, desperately trying not to look over her shoulder to see if the man in question had appeared. But you gotta let me go right now.
No, Bill said I can't. I can't. He said no matter what, make sure you didn't leave.
Suddenly the broken quality in her voice vanished. Replaced once more with a violent, troubling anger she recalled the object of her misery.
It's all about you. Everything. He doesn't need me. He doesn't want me. Well, if you're gone, then he won't have anyone else to think about.
Yeah, right. So let me go. She shook her head, cruel smile working its way out from under her tears.
If you're alive, he'll always think about you. If you're alive, you can never be happy.
No, that ain't.
It's the only way, damn it! You had to die. The fear in her eyes let me without a doubt that she was going to pull the trigger. Desperately, my eyes flicked from side to side, trying to find a way out. I had no gun of my own. I'd been taken from me when I was in jail. No way out, no way to defend myself. I braced myself to the shot, ready to dodge. There was a gunshot, and I dove, expecting the pain as I rolled on the ground. But nothing happened. Slowly I opened my eyes and examined myself, but there were no bullet wounds. I stood up and dusted myself off, looking around for Nancy. When my eyes located her, I saw a pool of deep red collecting on her broken, still form. Who? The only possible answer, came to me as my gaze moved upwards and met his. He was standing, eyes wide and uncertain, gun still in his hand, as if he weren't quite sure what he'd just done. Frozen in the spot, almost in a state of shock. I was sure I could run now. There was no way he'd be able to catch me. Something pulled me back. Something about this lost soul in front of me tugged at my heart, and instead, I slowly paced towards him. He was a coward and a killer, and he'd done countless terrible things in his lifetime. But somewhere deep down, his humanity was still there. His recent actions showed me he was struggling to find it. I stopped right in front of him. All of a sudden, at the sound of my voice, he turned loose again, and rage filled his eyes as they connected with mine. Lee McCarthy. I fucking hate you. He was breathing hard on the vent when what she spat my name surprised me. Then before I could react, he grabbed me by the neck and pushed me up against a broken, crumbling wall. I struggled, but he was much stronger than me, and especially with no firearm, I was helpless. He pushed his body against me, trapping me against the wall, and forced his mouth onto mine, bruising it. His kiss was rough and raw, full of deep emotion that was bursting for release. This time, as much as I loathed the thought of what was happening, I didn't resist. This time I knew what he needed. I let him pour all his raw, explosive energy into every fiber of the kiss, his tongue forcing mine aside and claimed dominance. He drew back, the pressure lifted, and I saw a deep, burning pain in his dark eyes. His hand wasn't nearly as tight as my neck as it had been, so held me in place mainly with his body. He exhaled and spat on the floor. I fucking hate you. I hate you, I hate you. The words lacked passion, lacked forcefulness, lacked truth. His mouth found mine again and turned overflowing energy returned. Responded, allowing him to do what he needed to release all that pent up frustration. I remembered when it first occurred to me what the feelings inside me meant. I'd reacted with anger and denial as well. Of course, Jimmy had helped me mold into the man I'd become. Maybe this was what Bill needed. To release all that rage, all that roiling emotion, into a full-blown kiss. Finally pulled back, panting, and looked me in the eye. His energy spent, his anger drained away, he seemed much smaller somehow. I met his gaze without flinching.
This time I was in control. Bill knew it too. Dropped his hand away from my neck and let me stand, his jaw clenching and his eyes closing as he turned away. What's happened to me? So body shook as he dropped to the ground, crouching in the dust as the gun hit the floor, his head falling to his open palms. I watched him crying like a baby, and he seemed so far removed from the wild Bill I had known and hated, though not chased for so long. And it was the same man, but somehow wasn't either. I sure did take the opportunity to run away and never looking back. It would have been the smart thing to do. Deep down, though, I knew I couldn't leave him like this. It's probably one of the few men that had a chance to fix this, show Bill that he could still turn his life around. Sure, he spent his whole life doing evil, but he had a lot of years left. Could spend the rest of them undoing it, doing good, if he chose to. There was a glimmer of a chance I could persuade him to make that choice. I wasn't gonna pass it up. That's the kind of man I am. I crouched down beside him and let him collapse onto me. His whole body was racked with sobs now, uncontrollably. What the hell is happening to me? I think you know, Bill. His bloodshot eyes turned to look up at me. I'm a fucking monster, Lee. I've done such terrible things. I held him and didn't say anything as he continued to break down. I'm a hypocrite and blasphemer, and I'll go to hell. Are you not scared of God, Lee? Nah. I've never been a God-fearing man. Bill was incredulous. How? Barely managed to croak the word out. You know you're going to hell for the sins you committed. Aren't you terrified to die? I tried to answer as honestly as I could. Well, I see, Bill, we're all God's children, and you don't make mistakes. I'm the way I am because that's what he wanted me to be. The book is right. I'm supposed to avoid temptation. Well, there ain't much point worrying about it now. What's done is done. There ain't no changing it. So the only thing I can do is enjoy this life at the best I know how. Do what feels right by me. When the day comes, I'll meet the devil with my head held high. Cause I know who I am and what I've done. And I've made peace with that. Bill dropped his gaze, fresh tears rolling forth, and his face away behind his scraggly hair. I don't know how to do that. How to feel that. You need to make peace with yourself, Bill. It can't have been easy for you all these years. Especially considering what you've done to all those poor people. People like me. People like you. Said Sharpball sharply, and his face crumbled when I said it out loud. It's like he was surrendering a cause he didn't even know he'd been fighting for. Like me. I shook my head gently. You know what you are, Bill? You're smart enough to know it ain't any other man or woman what made you feel it. It's all inside you. You gotta accept it. Or you'll be warm with yourself till your last breath. It's your nature. It's part of who you are. Bill's voice dropped to barely whisper. I can't. It's a sin. It's unnatural. I'm unnatural. You're Bill McCoy. No more, no less than you've ever been. The question is only whether you're willing to stand up and finally face the truth about what you are and what you've done. Or if you're gonna keep hiding away till it eats you from the inside out. Bill took a deep shuddering breath and suddenly ripped himself away from me. You don't know what the worst of it, Blackjack. Did he rightly put a hole in my forehead? Chill ran through me at the thought of what was worse than cold-blooded murder. And second, confess your sins, Bill, and let the Lord judge you. I held my hands up, palms open, showing him I didn't have no gun. This is between you and him. Bill surprised me by shaking his head sadly. No, it ain't. It's between me and all them and you. I peered into Bill's face and asked him the question that I'd been yearning to know the answer to for 8 years. Why'd you do it, Bill? Why did you kill Jimmy Kiefer? It was the first one. Seemed to lose his nerve, but then steeled himself and swallowed. Looking me in the eye, he continued a stronger voice. He knew. Timmy was the first man what ever seemed different to me. Struggled to get the word out, but continued. I was blown that Bill had even known Jimmy personally before I'd shot him. I didn't know what answer I was expecting, but they weren't there. I went to him, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was angry and confused, and I needed to know why it was different. Why it made me feel different. He was gentle. He was kind. He explained to me what I thought I already knew. But I grew up a good Christian boy and I was revolted. It's like there was two of me and I didn't know which one to listen to. I was weak, stupid, went to Jimmy again one night. That didn't make me understand. I tried to force myself on him. I was terrified of myself, him, and of everything I was feeling, but I was on my mind and I just had to know. My eyes were slowly widened and tore as I grasped the full story. He wouldn't have me. He had you by then and he said he didn't want nobody else. He told me no and he turned me away. It ended real ugly. I was so afraid he knew my secret and he'd tell everyone. Because of what I tried to do. Think about it long and hard, I didn't sleep. I couldn't bear the idea that he knew. He knew. I convinced myself it wasn't true. It'd been a one-time blip for one particular man and I could move on. But something was holding me back from getting back to normal. And it was him. It's Jimmy Kiefer. He had to be silenced so I could move on. I knew that I'd rather be branded a murderer than what I might really be. So I did what seemed to be the right thing I could only do. I killed him. I was shaking my boots hearing Bill's story. Remembering Jimmy's carefree affection and joy. To think he died for nothing. That's all I could do to refrain from punching him clean and dry right then. I forced myself to hold back though, at least until this diatribe was over. Then, well, let's see what came next. Bill's voice trembled as he made himself carry on. After that, I skipped down. You were out to me, and well, Jimmy was a popular man. I had made enemies. But with him gone, I could tell myself it was over. It was all over. Then 6 months later, a few towns further over, it happened again. And everywhere I'd go, every time I'd settle, it happened over and over. It grew into almost a routine, getting these feelings, firing myself, and finally killing whoever it was because I couldn't handle what I was. Better carry on doing bad, the destruction than admit I'd be wrong. Admit I was what I knew all along I was. Grit his teeth and stared about the dark sky lit with stars. Almost as if he was trying to talk directly to God. I picked up Nancy. If anything, that made it all worse. So I ran. Ran far where nobody would find me. Nobody came after me, then there'd be nobody to blame. Nobody to hurt. It wouldn't happen again. Plan was perfect. Except for you, Blackjack. No matter where I go, you always find me. And now here we are, two enemies at the back of nowhere, and I'm getting those feelings again. For you. I'm tired, Lee. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to be the man to put an end to you. All these years you've been like a conscience, dogging me, reminding me of my sins. But when it comes down to it, who's the man acting for God? Is it the killer? Or is his conscience? I can't do no more. I can't be the outlaw I became, but I can't go back and admit to what I always was. I grabbed Bill's shoulder and looked him straight in the eye. You were right. It was far worse than what I imagined. But it ain't too late for you, Bill. It ain't never too late. He was shaking his head, the tears began to flow once more. He dropped to his knees, a dust cloud rising up as he moved, slowly took the gun from the ground beside him. I was afraid for a moment, but then the shaky hand rose and offered to me. But first, do it, Blackjack. Hear me. Before I go crazy. Before I have to remember. Before I have to choose. I took the gun, my fingers curling around it. It felt cold and forward in my palm. Bill was directly in front of me, his tears dripping in the sand. He drew a small cross with his finger and spoke in a quaking voice. Do it. I deserve it for what I've done to them. And to you. It's true. I would have done it a week ago without thought. I was ready to shoot him then. Our Father, who art in heaven. So why now was my hand so shaky? Hallowed be thy name. Bill's face swam before me, and memories of Jimmy came rising to the surface of my brain. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. He killed him, on earth as it is in heaven. Killed all of them in cold blood. Give us this day our daily bread. He's a murderer, an outlaw, a criminal. Forgive us for our trespassers. My finger curled on the trigger and I took aim at his forehead. As we forgive those who trespass against us. That's because he felt the cold metal touch him. Lead us not into temptation. Just pull the damn trigger and it'll all be over. But deliver us from evil. The last 8 years came down to this moment. For thine is thy kingdom. One bullet. Power and the glory. One shot. Forever and ever. A life for a life. Amen. I met him dead in the eyes and pulled the trigger. The crack of the gunshot rang out through the still night air. It was as if everything moved slower than regular speed. The pain, confusion, and fear in his eyes drained away, replaced by a cold and thin blanket of death. The light inside him went out. His body slumped forward, landed with a thud and dust at my feet. And then, everything was quiet. There's nothing but the sound of my own deep, heavy breaths, amplified 100 times over. My heartbeat raced against my ribs in the knowledge that it was finally over. It was done. Somehow, though, it didn't feel like I thought it would. I expected a feeling of relief or peace that Jimmy was finally laid to rest and my long chase was over. But in its absence, there was only a crushing loneliness. It should have been the culmination of the last 8 years of my life. But when I looked back on it, everything I'd done had been for Jimmy. To get back at Bill. Bill had been my last remaining link to memories I loved so well. Now it's finished. The core is dead and gone, and I have nothing left. No purpose, no direction, no drive. The memories of Jimmy I'd been clinging on to fade away, like mist in the sun. What would become of David once Goliath was slain? My breath misted up in front of me in the cool of the night air. I suddenly felt the chill sharply. Looking down at Bill's body, I had a choice to make. I decided to leave him where he lay. I didn't have enough care to bury the man, but I felt that still dragging him around on the back of a horse would be a disservice. In his 5 moments he repented. He knew what he'd become. Besides, the strange new feeling of being alone wouldn't be made any better by bringing the reminder along with me. From here, from now, the world is mine alone, to choose my path forward. I couldn't go back to Gold's Rock and prevent the consequences of Dalton's death. That path had been closed out to me, so I had to hope that things would somehow work out. Maybe Tyson would find a way. But for me to forget what happened here. I picked up the gun and holstered it, hoisting my bag with the other hand. Then I turned from the scene with a final glance back at Bill's drying blood. Could he ever have been a better man? In some other life, maybe? The world would never know. With a final deep breath, I faced to the east and headed into coming in sunrise, leaving the echoes of my past behind me. A new day was dawning,